Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. In today's Brother ScanNCut tips and tricks tutorial, you are going to learn how to cut out and layer stamped images. The stamp set we'll be using is called Welcome Easter. It's by Stampin Up, and it is in our 2020 mini catalog. Now it's a cute whimsical set, and it's just a ScanNCut owner's dream to have a set this easy to cut out. But we have other sets as well. And so just so you know, we have religious Easter sets, this Easter Promise, and we have this whimsical Welcome Easter in our catalog, and we even have something over here called Full of Happiness, which is nice with the chick and the egg, and you can turn, of course, the chick into a, looks like they turned the chick into a bunny over here in that example. Okay, so we have plenty for Easter, and I just think it's very timely right now because Easter is like a month away, almost a month away, so you'll have lots of ideas. So now at the end of this tutorial, you are going to get to see 13 projects I created using the cutout images that I'm going to show you how to make. All right, so this is a cling stamp set. So for only $20, and we have celebration going on too, so $20 to get the stamp set, but if you spend $50, it means you get a free item from our store. I'm just going to peel them off. This is really strong, meaning cling stamp sets I've already attached the sticker to. The sticker sticks to the block. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp a lamb, a chick, which I already have mounted, and the bunny. Okay, and that's what I'm going to, this one's already inked up. I'm going to ink it again. So that start to finish, you understand how I did this. And I'll just go ahead and stamp 2 of each. So the reason I'm using Memento Black ink is because I colored these with the Stampin' Blends, all my examples, and I'll be coloring the ones I stamped now as well. I like to stamp 2 of each when I do tutorials, just in case something doesn't come out. So what I'm doing is, because this stamp is too big for this ink pad, so this is the ink pad, just so you don't miss any steps, Memento Black ink. If I try to ink it this way, it's just too big. So if I ink it upside down, then I know that I've covered the whole stamp. And just to save room, I can make one bunny going this way, one bunny going that way. Now don't put them too close together because we're going to be layering them. What does that mean? We're going to be creating outline distances around them. So don't stamp them too close together on the page. Okay, so when you're done, sometimes they're so sticky, these cling stamps, that to get them off, sometimes people use washi tape underneath just to be able to peel these off. I just use my hands. Of course, I need to clean that. So don't anybody cringe because it's not clean. All right, so then we'll do the chick. We'll do 2 chicks. And by the way, I'm going to be using the CM350. I forgot to mention that. But don't anybody run away because everything I teach you can be applied to any model of ScanNCut. It's just that my CM350, I'm in the middle of developing, well, almost at the end of developing a course called Using Fonts with the ScanNCut. And I wore my STX out. Like, it's not even cutting stamped images right now. It's just saying, I need a break. And so I'm using my CM350 for no other reason that it's doing a good job, and it's just never failed me. All right, so we have 2 chicks stamped, and now we're going to stamp 2 little lambs. And so the stamping block, which will fit all of these stamps, told you they were sticky, is this stamping block. D. Stamping block D will fit all the stamped images in this set. So we'll do little lamb. When you use Memento Black ink and then you use alcohol markers, the blends, then nothing smears. It's great, so it works out great. So now we have 6 stamped images. And I need to clean my stamps, so you already know that. I did mention that, so I'll put that over there. And I'm going to move this off to the side. So the projects I'm using feature this Pleased as Punch Designer Series paper. I'm just going to show you both sides of that. This is a special edition paper, meaning it was just released while supplies last. All right, so here's one of the tips and tricks. So you take a pencil. Now, there's certain, this is like I said, this stamp set is a ScanNCut owner's dream because of the well-defined lines, except for right there. You see in the bunny, right between the bunny's ears, there's a little gap. And if you don't enclose that gap, and this goes for any ScanNCut model, you have to enclose the gaps, especially the SDXs, which have a more sensitive scanner, a higher sensitivity. Like my scanner on the CM350 is only 300 dots per inch, but in the SDX models, it's 600 DPI or dots per inch. So it's even more sensitive. You have to enclose the gaps. I'm going to do it with a pencil. I'm going to do one far away, and I'll do one close. I should have sharpened my pencil, of course. So it's just a regular number 2 pencil. I get asked all the time, just a number 2 pencil. I'm going to put this under it so you can see. I'm putting my little stamp pad there so I can write on it. So here is what I did. I enclosed the gaps. See, I enclosed the gap there, and I'm enclosing the gap here. So now it'll scan. If you ever have something that looks like it's perfect, and you're like, why is it not scanning? Why is it not scanning? I've done it 10 times, like my meerkats. One of the meerkats, same thing, the darn little meerkats. One of them has a little gap in it. And you have to sort of, if your ink doesn't smear, you have to like sort of fill in with a pencil. Anyway, so I'm putting this not too close to the edge of the mat because I want to leave some room, for putting the layers. So let's put it there with the inch over so I know where I put it. So I'm going an inch in. And it, depends, and use a brayer or you can rub with your hands. All right, so now I'm going to load the mat, and then I'll bring my machine closer and adjust my camera. But I like to, especially with the CM model, I like to keep one hand here when I load the mat. Don't touch your hands next to the roller, of course, because you'll just get sucked in there. Okay, so I've loaded it. Now I can show you how I loaded it, because I don't want you to miss any steps in case you're new to the machine. Okay, so this is the CM350, but all of you have the same, no matter what ScanNCut model you have pattern and scan. I mean, every home screen sort of looks like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn off this light now that you got to see me stamp. All right, here we go. I did have a stylus right here. Here's my stylus. So you can use your finger or a stylus. When you turn on your machine, you see pattern and scan. We're scanning right now. We're scanning stamped images. We've stamped them. This could be anything. This could be pattern paper. This could be stamped images. You do it the same way. You're going to directly cut them out. So because I'm directly cutting these, I'm not saving them. I'm just cutting them. I'm using direct cut. This is asking, where do you want to temporarily store the images? I'm going to say on the machine, because to store it here, you have to do some Wi-Fi setup, which I'm set up, but still, it's just easier to store it temporarily on your machine. Black and white recognition mode, yes. Always, always, always you start out trying with black and white recognition mode. Very rarely will you need color recognition mode, ever. 99% of the time I use black and white recognition mode. Only if that doesn't work. And then I hit start, by the way. And just so you didn't miss it, this is how I loaded the mat earlier. I just didn't do it on camera, but that's how I loaded my mat. So, scanning in the whole page, and it's going to recognize my stamped images. So here are my stamped images. We're going to say okay. See how it did. Now notice it's also, it recognized all the scratches on the mat, because that goes back to that dots per inch. I told you it recognizes 300 dots per inch in this model and 600 in other models. All right, so there we go. So what I'm doing now, just so you know, is instead of trying to ignore objects, which I'm going to show you how to ignore objects, instead of trying to ignore all these stray bits that were scanned in, which I can ignore this way, I'm just going to go ahead and select the area with my stamped images in it. At least it doesn't make the machine have to think as hard. So but still, I want to show you how to ignore objects. So you could ignore objects. You could say, it's safe to say these are, 1.5 inches to 2 inches high. So you could ignore objects all the way up to 1 inch and still not be ignoring the very thing you're trying to scan in. And that would get rid of all the stray bits. So do use ignore object size. And then the other thing I like to do, and at this point I want to show you an example. I'm not showing you my projects yet, but I will show you. Let me show you an example of this. Here's a little bunny. Here's a bunny. All I've done is color this bunny's nose. Okay, so I am using, if you don't do anything, it'll cut along the line. It'll cut along the line of the bunny. I want, or any of these images, I want to make sure that I have an outline distance, a little white area around my bunny. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to select outline distance. Now, if you're using an SDX model and somehow that disappeared, so let's go back. And I think I ignored objects that were too big. Let's see if I can get that back again. I don't know what happened. Oh, it's you know what? It didn't enclose. You know what happened is the little head didn't enclose, but that's okay. That's why I stamped 2 of each. My little pencil mark didn't enclose the head all the way. Anyway, back to this. If you are using an SDX, I'm just going to go ahead and say outline distance of 0.04. You actually have to say okay before you get to that. But we get to it earlier in this model. But you will get to that little thing. Oh, and now it's back. How cool is that? All right, so I want to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this mark here. I'm going into edit. This is the editing mode when you have the little shapes. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm trashing it. So even after you do ignore object size and you put your outline distance, you still might have stray bits. So I did have a stray bit, so I trashed it. So you can get rid of things you don't want by 3 ways. Okay, just to review. You can zoom in and select the area you want. You can ignore object size. And the third way to get rid of things you don't want is to go in the editing mode and delete the trash or trash the things you don't want. Now we're going to hit cut. If you're using an SDX model, you just hit cut and you're done with it. It's an Autoblade technology. It knows what blade depth to use. But we are not using an SDX because mine's not behaving right now. I've worn the poor thing out. We are using a CM model. So what I'm doing is I'm going up to 12. I have to set the blade depth. To set the blade depth, always goes to 12 and then go backwards. With Whisper White cardstock, I use a blade depth of 4. Okay, I'll go back out. So blade depth of 4 for Whisper White. Don't use a blade depth too high or too low. Too low, you won't cut through the paper. Too high, it starts ripping the paper. So these are going to be pretty quick, and I'm going to let the camera run. I'll show you some other cuties while we're letting it run. It says stopped cutting. I wonder why. I must have done something. I don't know why it stopped cutting. I wonder if I just hit it. For some reason it just stopped cutting, but I'll show you some of these cuties. Oh, you know why it stopped cutting? It's because I'm touching the touch screen. Huh. All right. Let's see. I shouldn't be touching the touch screen. Keep the margin cut. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did we get any to cut? It's just, you know what? I'm going to have to just delete the ones that didn't cut. I have 1, 2 that cut. I'm going to go in here. I shouldn't be touching the touch screen. Delete, because he's already cut and he's already cut. But I wanted to show you something while it was cutting is why I was doing that. All right, all the rest need to cut still. So I will not touch, I'm not going to touch my touch screen anymore. Cut, start. I'm just going to show you these cuties without touching my touch screen. So you're going to notice that this machine is very loud. The CM350. And I want to address something. And I'll wait till it's done cutting when I address this, but I want to address why I color after I cut. Okay. I get asked this all the time. Papered Chef, why don't you just color first? And it would help you. You wouldn't have to use your pencil trick. You know, it would help you with your stamped images. I'm just going to say, okay, I'm going to go back. I mostly color after I cut. And then there's several reasons for that. Okay, so there's 3 reasons I'm going to tell you about right now. The reason I color after I cut is because I like to have a bunch of embellishments already. Like these are already. And I like to color them depending upon which project they're going to coordinate with. So for example, today I'm using this Please This Punch out of all the 13 projects I'm showing you. I used it for 12 of the projects. So I wanted to use coordinating colors that matched this Please This Punch designer series paper. Okay, but I also used a different color. So basically I like to have them blank. I like to have extra embellishments to color as I need so that they coordinate with projects. Okay, 1. 2, I don't color because if I color outside the lines, like say I color outside the line, it will cut a big hump. Like if I color outside its head, I mess up my coloring, then it will scan around my mess up and it'll scan and cut that out. And 3, the other reason I don't color before I cut is because not all images get scanned and recognized. Okay, the machine does not scan and recognize all images. It just doesn't. It doesn't do a great job of doing that. So let me show you now, just so you don't miss any steps. I'm going to show you the layering next, but I need to show you this. So I have 6 cut out images. I'm going to peel my Whisper White off. I was doing something on the other side of that. Okay, so we have your little spatula. You can, I'm not taking my mat out. I'm not removing my mat. I'm taking off these little guys, but I'm going to be putting a piece of the Pleased as Punch right in its place. That's why I went moved over an inch. I'm going to be putting a piece of, we'll put it this way. I'll cut it down a bit. Let's see which one I want to use. Because I want to make sure that I have enough for the layering. So I need to chop, because I can't go like hanging off the other edge. So I just chop it a little bit. All right, so this is the one I'm going to use for layering. This piece of Pleased as Punch. And by layering, I mean that we're going to use that cute little, like this one would be good for layering, but I use this for sentiment. So with this one, kind of like something, this isn't good for layering because there's too much white in it. And you don't want to put white behind something that's already white. Okay, so layering helps make your images have more dimension and they pop. So anyway, let's get back to taking these off the mat. So I know I have a lot of newbies, and so those of you who are not newbies, bear with me. Okay, so here we have all these beautifully cut stamped images. I mean, just imagine how long that would take you to fuzzy cut. Okay, and now I'm going to erase the head. I'm erasing. Actually, don't erase there, but don't use the eraser from the end of your pencil. Don't use the red eraser. Use this eraser. I mean, it doesn't have to be this eraser. Use an eraser that's not the red eraser. Use a white eraser. This is just one I got from an office supply store. Just a Pentel eraser. White erasers leave no marks behind, and then and now you're back to what the artist intended. They have the little gap in the head there. So that's what the artist intended. Let me turn on the light there so you can see. So I erased it, and I'm back to having a gap. Oh, I didn't erase it enough, did I? I just do it now before I forget. This one seemed to erase better. Of course, you don't try not to get eraser little marks stuck on your mat. We already have enough trouble being sticky. Okay, so there our bunnies are back to normal. Everything else is good. All right. Let's take these off the mat. Now, they were right around here. We went about an inch over. Oh, here, we're going to use this one. I'm going to be doing the layering now. So I'm putting this piece of paper right here without removing the mat. Okay? And I'll give you my little, this is a tips and tricks tutorial. So I will give you one of my little tips. When your mat is not very sticky, you can use painter's tape. I have some painter's tape here. And it'll help. I just reuse the same painter's tape over and over. And it'll help keep your paper from slipping. Okay, so I like to use painter's tape just to help keep my paper stable. My designer series paper doesn't have a lot of fibers in it. Okay, so this isn't very fibrous. It's like a smooth finish. Whereas the Whisper White, it stuck well. It sticks well to my mat. This one doesn't really stick very well to my mat. Not as much. So I'm using a little bit of painter's tape. All right, so now let's go back to our screen. So now we're doing the layering. And let's turn off this light so it's not so washed out. Now I'm going to just show you on the screen. So you have these little guys, and don't worry, maybe the bunny will get selected again, maybe not. We'll find out what happens. I want to now add a bigger outline distance. So I want to increase the outline distance. Now, I did the projects I'm going to be showing you can be used in craft fairs and things. And I like to put spring projects and Christmas projects on wobble springs. So I needed a big outline distance. So click here. This is the outline distance. And instead of 0.04, which was the original image, I went to 0.12. Yep, I got my bunny back. It's 0.12 gives me a big enough outline distance to hide my wobble. Okay, I need to tell you what a wobble is. And I'll have a link to my wobbles that I use. So these are little wobble springs that I put behind all my little spring projects. Hey, spring projects, cool. Okay, so I'm using 0.12, because that hides, it's just, for some reason, these are cheaper when you buy the bigger ones, the wobble springs, than the mini wobble springs. So I like to buy as many big ones as I can. I buy them in bulk, I like buy the 100. And so I want to hide my spring behind this little layer. You're going to get to see this. I'm not leaving out any steps. Let's say okay. And I think we might have, it says there's a pattern outside the effective areas. Just say okay to that. And then I need to get rid of, I'm going to trash this little bit. Trash that extra stray bit. So now I'm going to cut. Now I'm using designer series paper. I'm not using Whisper White anymore. So if you're using your Autoblade, just go for it. It'll know what depth to use. But for my case, I have to change the blade depth. So because I'm using a CM350, I have to go back up to 12 and then back to 3, because for designer series paper with Stampin' Up, I have to use a blade depth of 3. And this will all be in the notes, the description of this video. So I say cut. So what I'm doing now, I didn't remove the mat. I increased the outline distance. I have to scream over this loud thing. And now I'm cutting the layers. We're going to layer our stamped images. Okay, so it's done, and we're just going to click OK, and we're finished cutting, and then we can actually unload the mat now. Let me just double check that yes, it cut out fine, so I can unload the mat. Okay, when unloading the mat, yada yada yada. Okay, just go ahead and unload the mat. So we're done with the scan and cut as far as we did our cutting, we did our layering, and now I can show you. The layers. So you're going to layer in either. I did some layering cardstock, a coordinating color of cardstock. Or you're going to layer in designer series paper that goes with your project. And not all my stamped images are layered. I don't always layer, but in this case I was trying to put these on a wobble spring, so I needed to layer them. And it worked out really well because this is great spring colors. I shouldn't have been trying to cut through the tape there. Whenever you have painter's tape, it's hard. It didn't cut all the way through that, but that's okay. We're going to use these as an example. We got the chicks and the little lambs. We got the outlines for them. And the bunnies, I just have to snip them over. So keep that in mind, when you're trying to cut through painter's tape. But at least my paper didn't slip. So there's that. So we're happy with that. All right, here we go. So let's see. Got a few more things to show you before I show you the projects I created and the different things I used. All right, that's my website if you want to order this adorable, adorable stamp set. A lot of you are already demonstrators and you already get a discount, but if you're a customer, go ahead and order it. I mean, you can get free stuff. Okay? All right, so let's see what we got here. That little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. The bunny is, the outline is gone for the bunny right now. There we go. Super, super adorable. And the little lamb. And of course, I do have outlines for my bunnies, but they're just happen to be stuck on my tape right now. So let's show you, we'll just do the chick. Because I just don't want you to not understand how I did these things. So bottom line, you have your bunch of, sorry, I'm just grabbing all my, I have a bunch of Stampin' blends. The blends are alcohol markers. And I wanted to make sure I coordinated with the Please This Punch. So to use the blends, now I can turn on my light, is you take they come in pairs. So one of the colors that coordinates with the Please This Punch is Daffodil Delight. So you take your dark Daffodil Delight. They come in pairs, dark and light. I'm going to take my thin side. There's a thin side and a thick side to each blends marker, and I'm just going to go around like this. I'm taking the thin side, the dark side. That is it. It's so simple. Okay, there's no right or wrong way. It's simple the way I do it. Let's put it that way. Okay? And then because you don't want it to dry, you don't want to do the bottom of the little chick yet. I'm just doing circular motions with the light blend. Okay, the circular motions. Trying not to touch the beak area. But if you do, it's okay because the beak will be darker. So I'm blending the light and dark areas, leaving the middle of the face the lightest. Okay, and it dries and it'd be better. Then I'm going to do the same at the bottom. But like I do it in sections. Like if I'm doing a flower, I do a couple leaves at a time. And there it lies in while I don't color before I... Because if I mess up in my coloring, and I'm just making both wings dark. If I mess up in my coloring, then it will translate to being cut out messed up. So I don't want to cut out a messed up stamped colored image. So that's one of the reasons I don't color. And then I also just like to, like I said, coordinate with whatever project I'm doing. So that's how you do it. Then I take my pumpkin pie, thin side of the pumpkin pie, and I'm just doing all this. And I last year, or it could have been the year before, when I did a scan and cut tutorial with another cute stamp set that had a chick, I showed you how to make a little stamping mask, and we put it over the chick, and we did some sponge coloring real quick, and it was very, very easy. However, I think that was before I had the blends. Okay, so I think this is even easier than sponge coloring. But you know, maybe we'll link to that video too. It's related. So herein lies the wobble spring magic, 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 magic. You know, I just had them. Here they are. They're up on my machine. So I have these little wobbles, and there's a hard side, and there's like a sort of a translucent side. So I take the hard side. That's the part I'm putting on my, that I'm hiding behind my layer. See, when you use the 0.12 outline distance, you hide the back of your wobble spring. So I'm just peeling this off, and you can use a pokey tool, like a take your pick pokey tool, but I'm just using my finger now because that's all I have available right now, and I can't go run and get any other tools. My table's pretty full. So that's what I'm doing. I'm putting this behind the chick, and it's hidden, okay? I do that before I put this layer on because I want to make sure that that wobble spring's hidden. Then I take my Stampin' Dimensionals. Oh, this is so much fun. I'm telling you. I can't get over how much fun these are. So we've colored, we've cut, we've layered, and don't worry that the Stampin' blends bleed through. Then you peel off the dimensionals. They bleed through, but that's okay because they're hidden with that other layer, right? And you put that on, and voila, you have, well, you don't have it yet. Now you got to put that on. We'll go ahead and do the whole topper. Let's see if this one's a topper. This one might be a topper. And then I'll show you my projects. It doesn't matter. This can be a topper. Yeah, that'll be a cute topper. So we're just gonna, I'm gonna make that into a topper for my jelly beans or my candy. We'll do candy corns. Now normally my toppers, and I'm gonna have instructions, they're 5 inches by, let me tilt this down a bit, 10 inches, no, 5 inches by 2. And so when you fold them, they're like 2.5. So this one's a little bigger than my topper. But I'm just doing it to show you because I got to show you this wobble. Because I don't want you to, like, after I do tutorials sometimes, people are like, but how'd you do this? And why did you only use the top corner of your mat? And how did you stick that? And I get these questions that are like, oh, I thought I showed every step under the sun, but I didn't explain everything all the time. So now what I'm doing is, and I'll link to where I get these bags. I link to where I get the wobble springs. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these bags, but we don't sell these bags anymore. I kind of go like that to get it real tight under there. The candy corns sort of stick into the paper a little bit. It just kind of helps. You know, it helps stiffen the top of the treat, you know. But you do want them sealed, so then you can push them back out. So you want this to seal. You want this to be tight like that. But you want the candy corns to kind of touch it so it's kind of rigid. Okay? And now I can put my wobble. I can peel off the back. So this part is sort of the translucent part. There was a hard part and a translucent part. And there's no really mystery for these wobble springs. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just broke it. I'm being manhandling it. Paper Chef does not have time to make a new video because I'm in the middle of trying to finish my course, but that's okay. I'll just peel another one off. They're only like a quarter. And some people are going to say, but why don't you make them yourself? I don't have time for that. I don't have time to go get springs and make these myself. Not when they're a quarter. They're too darn cute. Look at how cute. And that's how you make your stuff wobble. Okay, now I'm going to show you my finished projects. And of course that's not centered, but doesn't matter. And I'm going to put Happy Easter on that one. So here are my finished projects. I did jelly beans. We'll start out with those since they're related to what I just showed you. And I did Sweet Friend, and Sweet Friend is from the stamp set. The stamp set we're using for this tutorial. Okay, I just want to explain as I show you the projects what colors I used. This is Please As Punch Designer Series paper, the green side. It's called Granny Apple Green, it's one of the coordinating colors. This is Highland Heather, dark and light Highland Heather blends. And then I used the little nose as a little bit of marker with Blushing Bride, because Blushing Bride matches. This one is using Balmy Blue, the light and dark blends for Balmy Blue. And these are both on wobbles. And these are just jelly beans, Jelly Belly, and Brock's jelly beans mixed together. Okay, and there's the Sweet Friend. Okay, so that's how I made those projects. Moving along, I'll show you my favorite project last. Well, second favorite. Okay, these are Ghirardelli chocolate eggs. Okay, so these are little eggs. And these fit into these little pockets. I've shown how to make these on my channel before. I've layered up the little chick, colored them all with the blends. Each one gets a little Ghirardelli. It's not Ghirardelli, it's Ghirardelli eggs. Okay, and the thanks comes from one of our free celebration sets. This is one of the free sets you can get. It's called Sending You Thoughts. And I used the 3/4 inch punch, but you can use the ScanNCut to make your 3/4 inch circles. And then I did 3/4 inch and 1 inch circles just to layer those up. This is just a fold. This is a simple fold. It's called a diaper fold. And here's another example. Okay, so there's the Ghirardelli egg, this is an example of Highland Heather. So this is layered with Highland Heather, the bunny. Balmy Blue colored the bunny, layered with Highland Heather. The little chicks colored with Daffodil Delight, and layered with the Please As Punch Designer Series paper in the back of those. All right, so now I'm going to get into some other Ghirardelli holders. Okay, so other Ghirardelli holders. And you can put a tea bag. Okay, so these will fit a tea bag. So a tea will fit in these, or a Ghirardelli chocolate square. Okay, so these will fit. And I like giving out the chocolate because it's Easter basket time, right? The Happy Easter stamp is from this Welcome Easter stamp set that I'm working with. And this Pleased As Punch, I just used my heart punch. The whole reason that paper, by the way, I should have said that. I'm a bad demonstrator. Okay, I should have said this. Look, the whole reason this paper's called Pleased As Punch is because we have punches that coordinate with this. We have 2 heart punches in our mini catalog. We have an umbrella builder punch in our mini catalog, which I'll show you. We have a tulip builder punch for Mother's Day and everything. And we have a little flower punch that punches out that flower. The flower punch you can earn. It's one of the free items you can earn. These, you got to buy these kind of punches. But anyway, that's the reason it's called Pleased As Punch, because this paper, it coordinates with lots of our punches. So that's how I did that. I punched out the heart, but there's no reason you can't cut a heart out of your ScanNCut, right? And then I used this Daffodil Delight twine from where did I use that from? Oh, it was called, there's this little kit I have. Seriously the Best, it's called Project Kit. And here's another one with that same bunny. Now, what I like about this bunny is, I colored him later because one of the colors in this Pleased As Punch, it said was Pool Party. And I said, oh, I wonder what a pool party bunny would look like. Oh, he looks cool. I like the Pool Party bunny. Meaning Pool Party is a color, by the way. If you're not familiar with Stampin' Up, it's a color. So that's Pool Party with Highland Heather behind it. This is Balmy Blue. Look at the difference in those colors of bunnies. Oh, how fun is the Pool Party bunny. And then I put the Pool Party heart inside there to match. Okay, and what else? I think I had 4 of those. I don't know if I showed you all 4, but there were 4 of those. And there was one with a little lamb on it. Mary had a little lamb. I don't know what happened to him. But anyway, so next I want to show you. Can't believe I lost my little chocolates already. I probably ate the darn thing. Here he is. Here he is. Okay, the reason I want to show you the little lamb is this. I like to teach you lots of tips and tricks if you're stampers and things that I figured out along the way. Do you see how his face is all blotchy, like a lamb has a blotchy face anyway? And I thought when I colored it with gray, with a smoky slate, that it was too dark. So what I did is I used a color lifter. And I just thought that was kind of fun. So I colored him with smoky slate, and then I lifted the color off with an alcohol marker called a color lifter. And it just took the color off his face and made his face all blotchy. So that was just a fun little way to color the lamb. And then for this one, I just put like a little tiny line of balmy blue around the edges. And then for many of my little bunnies and chicks and stuff, I put, I don't know, one of these is full. I put this Wink of Stella, the glitter brush over the top. All right, I have 4 more projects to show you. This is so exciting. All right, so this one, I was talking about before. I said, this is why I don't color until after, okay? So I cut out all my stamped images. And I'm not kidding when I say I cut out lots of stamped images. I have a whole bucket full of embellishments here. So I colored a few of them different ways to use in different projects, but I cut out them all at once, okay? So then this one I decided, it would be really cute to use this project kit. So we have a project kit, and it's in our annual catalog, and it's called the Notes of Kindness card kit. And I looked on the card kit, and Blushing Bride was one of the colors. Blushing Bride, that's this pink. And another color was called Soft Seafoam. Soft Seafoam. And I was like, I'm going to try to color a bunny with Soft Seafoam till he matches this project. Such a simple little thank you card for a customer. And look at the little pearls. They came in the kit. This took me like 2 minutes to make this card. Well, that's because I already have all my images stamped, and it had stickers, and it had the little stickers for me, and it had little things to cut my images. So now I have a little Easter themed thank you card with a bunny that matches the background. Okay, so moving along. Now this one's really outside the box. This one is taking like a whole other stamp set, and in addition to what I showed you. So like I've been using up until now this Welcome Easter. But here's where I take the Pleased as Punch Designer Series paper, the Umbrella Builder Punch, and I've combined, I used a gray background because it's like gray and rainy, to go with the rainy theme. And here's the stamp set I used. It's called Under My Umbrella. And the Umbrella Builder Punch, I told you I'd show you that. So this Pleased as Punch coordinates with the Umbrella Builder Punch. So if you get things like this from my store, like the Umbrella Builder Punch bundle, you save 10% when you buy Umbrella Builder and Under My Umbrella. And then in turn, you can earn things. So when you spend money, then you can earn free items during celebration only, in March, until March 31st. Anyway, back to this card. So I colored it with coordinating colors for the Pleased as Punch. I used Blushing Bride, Daffodil Delight, Highland Heather, Granny Apple Green for the little flowers, black for this, Balmy Blue for this little lamb, plus the smoky slate, a little bit of Highland Heather, Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and I made an umbrella with the Umbrella Builder Punch. The reason the little chick's holding the umbrella is he's the only one that had the little hand that could hold the umbrella, because the little bunny was sitting down like this, and it wasn't able to hold the umbrella, and then the little lamb wasn't able to hold the umbrella because it was sitting down like that. So I thought the little chick looks like it's holding the umbrella. So that's what I came up with, and I think I put a sentiment. Let's see. Nope, I didn't put a sentiment on the inside yet, but I'm thinking, it says, rain or shine, you're always on my mind. And I was thinking that inside I could put, no matter the weather, we're friends forever. And I'll put a piece of Whisper White inside that card. I just haven't got to it yet. All right, so then I have, let's see. I'm going to show you my favorite project last, but here's just a little project I made with a font, and I'll link to this font. It's a free font that you can download. Those of you that have been watching my tutorials know that you can, now with the new update to the ScanNCut, you can, I'll wobble it while I'm talking, you can draw text along a path. I did a tutorial on YouTube about drawing text along a path. So you can install this free font that I'll link to, and you can have a little Easter tag. So this is for my niece. Wobble, wobble. And I used the Highland Heather marker, okay, because this fits in the universal pen holder for the Brother ScanNCut. And then I used the Highland Heather alcohol blends to color the bunny to match. So the markers and the alcohol markers all coordinate together. And then I used the egg from the ScanNCut. So these are just ideas for you, okay? I have a course coming up also. So not only did I teach how to draw text along a path inside of YouTube, I have an entire course called Fonts, using fonts with the ScanNCut, or it's called Brother ScanNCut, Working with Fonts, and it should be out in about a week, so stay tuned for that. Now here's my favorite project. In my last tutorial on YouTube, I showed you how to decorate mini pizza boxes by Stampin' Up. These mini pizza boxes are just really sturdy and adorable. I showed you how to make these precise little rectangles to put along your mini pizza boxes. Everybody that participated, well, almost everybody, in my paper share until I ran out, got a mini pizza box. So you're ready to decorate your mini pizza box that came in the mail. I told you there'd be surprises in that paper share. Okay, I'm going to show you what's in it. More Please Just Punch layers, some little stickers, some little Easter stickers, some candy corns with the little stamp, the sweet friend, and a couple Ghirardelli hearts with caramels. I love giving them out to people. But again, I always like to say this because you wouldn't believe how many people ask me what I put in my boxes. I'm like, anything that fits. You know, I want to say that, but I never say that. But I mean, seriously, guys, put whatever you want in your boxes. Like a gift card, money, candy. Like, you really don't need me to tell you what to put in your boxes. Just put whatever you want to put in your boxes. But I'm going to put candy in my boxes because I give these a lot of times to my nieces and nephews, you know, little kids. And stickers. And I don't care if I give it to an adult. I still put stickers in the little boxes. I mean, who doesn't like stickers? What crafter doesn't like stickers? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to cut out and layer stamped images using your Brother ScanNCut CM350. Please subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and check out my other videos in my playlist. Okay, that's all for now. This is the Paper Chef.